This month is Women Abuse Prevention Month, a time to raise awareness and take action against gender-based violence. Here with more is Carm Bozzo from Halton Women's Place for more. Carm, thank you so much for being here for such an important discussion. Tell me why this month is so important to mark.
It's so important because, I mean, every month should be Women Abuse Prevention Month. You know, violence against women and girls is one of the most widespread human rights, violations across the world. But this month in particular, we want to raise more awareness about the issue, especially in all of our, small communities, which we all think, doesn't happen in our community, but it absolutely does. And we keep seeing that, on news broadcasts like this, and all the stories. So it's really important to just keep raising that awareness, letting people know about their local women's shelter and how they can support survivors as well. So it's a time to also amplify survivors' voices.
Absolutely.
And making sure that they know that they can have a safe space to tell their story.
What kind of trends are you noticing when it comes to gender-based violence in our community in particular?
Yes, we're seeing a lot of trends. We know that, like I said before, like a lot of people think that it doesn't happen in their community, and it doesn't happen to women who are in professional, situations or live in, we're in the Halton region, so in Halton, it's an affluent community. It's always known as a great place to live, work, play, and it is, but not for all women. And I think that that's a big, trend as well, is letting people know that it happens across all families and across all socioeconomic, boundaries. It's really important for businesses like this, especially too, to let their employers know or their employees know that there's a safe space for them to go to if they are experiencing something at home, and how they can be supported at work as well.
You kind of touched on some of those misconceptions that come when it comes to gender-based violence. Sometimes people don't think it happens so close to home. What are some of those signs that maybe someone doesn't even realize that they're dealing with a situation, or maybe their loved one is in a situation that they need to get some help?
That's a really great question, actually. How somebody can maybe see the signs in a friend or a family member is, that person is maybe withdrawing a little bit from the family, because sometimes what happens is that they are not, really allowed to make a lot of contact with friends and family. It's the isolation pieces. So reaching out to see when your friend or family member is feeling a little or showing signs of isolation and not reaching out. In a corporate setting, is your employee missing a lot of work? Are they needing to change schedules? So it's just really asking questions and not being afraid to ask questions, because it's really important to break that silence.
So for the Halton's Place, the women's shelter that you guys are with, how do you help out in this sense for people who are able to maybe are looking for a way to get help?
Absolutely, yes. So we do have we have two actually, 24-hour, 365-day safe shelter facilities, places where people can come to stay with us if they need to. I mean, it's really, we're seeing this around shelters across, really around Canada as well, is that, we're full most of the time, right? But please continue to reach out. 24-hour crisis information and support line as well, an online chat if they need to reach out in that capacity, but also beyond shelter, working with our counselors in the community to find housing, to continue those, the counseling, to continue wraparound services, because we are the women's shelter, we're experts in that, but we know that there comes mental illness as well with that, mental health issues, also addiction, supports for your kids is really important. So shelters can support in all of those capacities. Reach out.
And I know that you just touched on, I was even going to ask about how you guys help out families, because sometimes, it is a mother situation where they have their kids and they're trying to get help too. Real quick, what are some of the challenges that you face as a shelter, and what are you hoping that the community is aware of?
Yes, I think all shelters are facing that, like most people, the housing crisis is a huge issue for shelters. Women are staying much, much longer in shelters. We're supposed to be a short-term crisis shelter, right? But women are staying sometimes up to a year. And that is because there's no, transitional housing, affordable rent. It's really a big challenge for shelters and for women, and sometimes a barrier for why women will either stay longer in shelter or not leave at all, is because what is after shelter? So how your community can help is help us advocate for that.
Advocating is number one, and that's why this month is so important. Carm, thank you so very much for your time and shining some light on this important month that will be marking, every month for sure, like you're saying. We'll have all these details up on our website about how you can get involved at chch.com/morninglive.